Welcome to the Life Turkey podcast.
Hello and welcome to the Life Junkies podcast with me, Mike. Now, at first I need to apologise. There was no podcast last week. I had plans that fell through. I had backup plans which again fell through, and then by the time both of those have fallen through, I didn't have any chance to get to my third plan, which I did have, which basically probably saved you from, to be fair. It would have been just me rambling on a bit. Not too dissimilar to what I'm doing now. But this podcast won't just be me rambling on a bit, because this is a wrestling podcast, and that in recent history means I am joined by a good friend of mine, Chris.
Good evening.
Now, there's a second apology also needed. We are recording this on Monday night, the 11th of February. This means that we are in UK time, that we are recording it before the Raw and the SmackDown leading up to pay-per-view. So while this is being released, hopefully this will be my first podcast released on Friday. It may not. You may be hearing this on Sunday with about an hour left until the pay-per-view, but hopefully this will be released on Friday. So we won't have the latest up-to-date information, basically. So we are working off of a card as it is now, and we will talk a little bit later on about possible extra matches they might add in. Hell, they might completely change one of these matches, and it might be Becky Lynch versus Brock Lesnar, or she might go into the WWE Title Elimination Chamber. I don't know, but we're working from what we have, so hopefully they don't change too much. Although we might change our opinion as we start talking about the card. So anyway, this is looking to be quite a quick one. It's quite a short turnaround for this pay-per-view. So, in the interest of some filler in the intro section, we mentioned last podcast about Chris going off to work the transfer deadline day. How was it? Where were you sent in the end? Because you were talking about going up to Huddersfield before, weren't you?
Yeah, so I was on the afternoon to late shift. So they split the shifts because one cameraman starts at 6 until 2, and then the other one will do 2 till the end. So I was supposed to start at 2, but a club called Sheffield Wednesday appointed Steve Bruce as their new manager on that day, so I had to go and interview him in Sheffield. And then en route to Huddersfield, got diverted to Leeds, basically because Huddersfield have given up on their Premier League safety. And Leeds were signing a player. They decided to go to Leeds, so I arrived at Leeds about 6 o'clock in the afternoon. A player turned up who they were going to sign, I think, for £8 million in total. It was going to be like a loan signing, and then that went to a permanent signing. A kid called Daniel James, who was a winger from Swansea. So he turns up, does his medical. He's there, has all his pictures done in the Leeds United kit as they're agreeing personal terms and what have you. And then 5 minutes to the deadline, the deal collapsed, and the lad had to get in his car with his dad and then drive back to Swansea, and he never signed for Leeds. So he had a very dramatic deadline day at the end.
I can't imagine that must be so. And we talk about there's a lot of discussion that goes on about mental health issues with regards to, in general, a lot of celebrities, in regards to people, and a lot of people not believing that celebrities would have mental health issues, all the money they've got, and bypassing the pressures that put on them. But one of the worst places, I think, around the celebrity realm is for young footballers, and that must be crushing. I can't imagine some young 18-year-old lad, that's his life.
Yeah, that was it.
Now,
I really felt for him. He looked absolutely devastated. He's set his heart on wanting to sign for Leeds. They're obviously top of the championship at the minute. As far as he's concerned, the deal's done. And then I think there's a bit of skullduggery at Swansea that has now since led to the chairman stepping down. But yeah, it cost him his move, and now he's back at Swansea and might never actually get that move now, because if Leeds get promoted, they might not go back for him.
He was first teamer at Swansea this season, wasn't he?
Yeah, he's only 21 years old, but he's burst onto the scene as a hot talent. And yeah, he's regarded quite highly. So I mean, it was a lot of money to pay for somebody who's not played that many games, to be fair. But Leeds really wanted him. They thought they'd got him, and then unfortunately for him, and I suppose for Leeds, they missed out right at the death.
Yeah. It's, again, I don't know how much you're allowed to say on public forums. I don't know if you're, but yeah, no, it's a shocking, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was really. I did feel for him because I mean, like I said, I mean to get up to Leeds, to do your medical, to agree personal terms, to have the the little videos that get released when you sign a new player, to get your photos done with the shirt, to do all that, and then have it all taken away from you for something that's not your fault, was hard for him to take. And it's probably a 5-hour drive he must have had to have back down to Swansea that night with his dad, and I bet there was barely a word spoken.
Also, it would have been a nice little payout for him as well, probably moving across. I presume it'll be a wage increase as well, and that's money that I know he's not. I know he's not sort of struggling for it with a Cheltenham Town or something like that, but still at that age, you want your little nest egg because you don't know how long it's going to last.
Exactly, a bad injury, you never know, do you? It's. I mean, if he's that good, you'd say that he's got a good chance, but I suppose it's just a bit of a hard knock to take when you're 21 years old.
You should know as well as I do that football, it's not always about how good you are, just like in wrestling. It's not always about how good you are, it's about getting that lucky break.
Yeah, that's it, being in the right place at the right time. And who knows, you never know, he might play for Swansea the rest of the season, they might get in playoffs, but I think when he left that night, my heart did go out to him. But it just shows you the kind of things that happen behind the scenes on Deadland. It is quite an exciting thing to work on. I do enjoy it.
He said moving back to the skyline.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Catch it all.
The thing as well is, though, they'll expect him to go out and play with his heart the very next game for Swansea, when really he's probably a bit more than peeved that he's missed out.
Yeah, and even with his own
potentially move.
His Swansea teammates, it must have been weird the next because he's basically said goodbye. He's gone up there. It's all over the telly that he's going there. There's pictures of him arriving at Ellen Road, and then to have to turn back up at Swansea the next day and carry on as normal must have been tough.
Right. With that, now we've made sure to alienate our any American listeners.
Yeah.
I say any American listeners, we get about 10 people per podcast. So I will take a short break and we'll come back for part 1 of our Elimination Chamber pay-per-view talk. Yes, we have managed to split it into 2 parts. Find out why when we come back.
This is a Life Turkey podcast.
And we are back now for the first part of this podcast. I would very much like to talk about the undercard. So what we've done here is we split the card. Now, there's only 5 matches, so it's not much to split. But basically, the Elimination Chamber matches, the meat, the point of this pay-per-view will be in the second part. So for the first part, we are going to talk about the undercard. I guess is the best way to call it. First of all, I want to ask you, Chris, about your feelings on matches on pay-per-views like Elimination Chamber. Now, I know Elimination Chamber was one of the first to become a themed pay-per-view. It was a themed pay-per-view back when it was No Way Out, because obviously they decided No Way Out was close enough to a descriptor for the Elimination Chamber, so they could keep it there. Again, I've voiced my opinions on this. I talked about this at some point for some pay-per-view, possibly Survivor Series, possibly most likely Hell in a Cell. I lose track now, but so I voiced my opposition to that, feeling that they maybe to limit creativity somewhat and cause for lazy storytelling, which of course we definitely have not got leading up to this pay-per-view, because the catching up on the storylines is that's full of real creative pushing the envelope choices. Of course, it wasn't. They're just let's have 4 matches to decide who goes to the next pay-per-view, who gets into the Elimination Chamber match. SmackDown, they didn't even have. They just put 3 teams in because they haven't got enough women to do it.
I know, it's ridiculous.
So anyway, I've wandered off from the point again. What is your feeling in regards to elimination or pay-per-views like Elimination Chamber with a themed like Hell in a Cell or?
I think it only works like any pay-per-view works if the storytelling's right. There's no reason why you can't have an Elimination Chamber pay-per-view and call it that and have it where it is. But I just feel like, especially even for the men, we'll speak about it later, the SmackDown World Title, it's just like they've just gone, right, you 6, you're going to be in, that's it. You 5 are going to challenge him, and that's what it's going to be like. Or it doesn't make any sense. There's no reason why they couldn't have scripted a story around that. I mean, I know they went big on the women's title on Raw, but you could have carried that on a bit further. You didn't have to name straight away your WrestleMania matches. That could have been a way to use the Elimination Chamber. The night after, you already know that Rollins is fighting Lesnar and Rousey is fighting Lynch, but they could have dragged that out a bit further and had it maybe at this pay-per-view that something happens and built the storyline a little bit more. I mean, you never know, something might happen that we don't know, like we said on Raw and SmackDown this week, but I just feel like it's a bit flat, like it's kind of just they know where it is in the calendar, they've no real plan what they're going to do with it, so they've just in the 2-3 weeks before just gone, right, you're there. I can't imagine many titles will change hands, and let's just skip along to WrestleMania.
Right. So this is the thing when we talk about they sort of stumbled into it. The WWE Championship Elimination Chamber match is a perfect one for that. Bryan has come out with his new custom belt made from hemp and wood.
Yeah.
Styles then confronts him, followed by, and this is how what the wiki says. Styles then confronted Bryan, followed by Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, Jeff Hardy, and Mustafa Ali. After the ensuing brawl, WWE Chief Operating Officer Triple H scheduled Bryan to defend the championship against Styles, Joe, Hardy, Orton, and Ali in an Elimination Chamber match at the pay-per-view.
Yeah.
Now, this has been said before, but these guys have all gone into Royal Rumble for a chance to earn a WWE title match, and they've lost.
Yeah.
I think every one of those guys in the pay-per-view, apart from Styles, who lost his Elimination Chamber match, his WWE title match.
Yeah.
So then they just get given a WWE title match for no reason. None of them have earned it. There's no continual storyline involving the 6 of them that feeds into this match. It's just, we went out to argue with the champion, and there just happened to be 6 of us, and it happens to be an Elimination Chamber match coming up, so we've got to put in it. And it's lazy.
It is lazy. This is the problem, I think. So that you know where Elimination Chamber is in the calendar, but because WWE now, they'll only tell a story for 4 weeks, really, most of the time, and then it's over after the pay-per-view. Whereas for this, they could have started this like 8-12 weeks ago and had qualifying matches and whatever else for it, but instead they don't. They just go, no, you 6 randomly picked are going to be in it. Well, instead of building a bit of storyline and having decent matches that actually mean something on SmackDown, rather than just the same matches week in, Mustafa Ali, Samoa Joe, they're for nothing. They just come out. They very rarely go to a proper decision. It's normally a DQ or somebody or a run-in, or maybe make it more of a tournament, and make people qualify for it, so it actually means something over a longer period of time.
Or you do something where sort of the title picture is starting to lose control. Styles and Bryan are the 2 main fighting, but Orton, Joe, Hardy, and Ali are having a go in the 2 or 3 months leading up to the pay-per-view, and then finally it ends in this mass brawl where people are they're fighting in the crowd and around the ring, and that's finally when Triple H goes, right, I've had enough of this. If you all want to fight, you can all fight in an Elimination Chamber match, and then sends them all to it.
Yeah.
Do you remember before No Way Out became the Elimination Chamber pay-per-view, they put it for a few years, I think it's 2 or 3 years, on New Year's Revolution.
Okay, yeah.
And they booked it just as if, it just happens to fall on New Year's Revolution. And this was right about the time when I was getting back into wrestling. It always seemed to work, and it might have been because I was young and was just enjoying wrestling rather than analysing it back in those are the days. But it seemed to work more, and it they played it off as it just happens to fall. Like, it wasn't, this is the pay-per-view. It was, this just happens to fall in, but I still think it takes away the mystique of the match as well. It's meant to be the fearsome Elimination Chamber.
Yeah, I agree. It'd be maybe even better if you didn't know it was in the chamber. That'd be quite cool. If so you couldn't see into each unit. I'd take that. That'd be quite a decent thing to do. That might be quite something a bit novel on the night that you don't know who's going to be in it.
You lose stuff like, again, when I think of Elimination Chamber, one of my top, I was going to say favourite, but I don't know if it's favourite. I think one of the best, maybe is a better word, elimination moments I've seen was literally when Kurt Angle, I was talking about this to someone, when Kurt Angle was foaming at the mouth, when he was doing the storyline where he was obsessed with John Cena, for the title, and he was just there, and you saw him waiting. He was looking at John Cena, waiting to get in, and he's just bashing his head against the plexiglass, foaming at the mouth, and it was hitting the plexiglass, and he looked every bit of a nutter, but just wanted to get out there, and that was brilliant. But,
that's good.
But then none of the guys, you're not going to see Seth Rollins doing that, are you? Because he's not a character actor. He's just
I mean, who's genuine on the night sat there waiting for Mustafa Ali to get released into the ring? It's just, I don't know. I think it's just poor. It's poor.
We're supposed to be talking about this in a minute, aren't we? We'll run out of stuff to talk about in part 2 if we carry on. So really, the first match we're supposed to be talking about is the Cruiserweight title match. This is Akira Tozawa challenging Buddy Murphy. Now, I'm not entirely sure what we can say about this Cruiserweight title match that we haven't said about Cruiserweight title matches before. This is my big problem with 205 Live. Again, I don't watch it. When I've tried to watch it, there doesn't seem to be a massive amount to it or character work. So
I agree.
Again, I don't know.
No. It's one of them. It's exactly the same as I've done, I think, for the last couple of pay-per-views. We've spoke about the Cruiserweights. I think there's an undercard, isn't there? So it's probably going to be on the undercard. Akira, he was in was it a triple threat or was it a fatal four-way at the last pay-per-view?
It's a fatal four-way.
Fatal four-way. I don't know whether or not they're just trying to give him Buddy Murphy a bit more ring time. I can't see him dropping his belt. He's looked decent in his defences. Is he going to lose this now after coming through a fatal four-way? Probably not. And is it just a match, basically, for the fans in the arena to get them in the seats and get ready for the main card?
It's another match to sell the network, isn't it? Because you could be getting a match like this every week on 205 Live.
Exactly. That's what it is, yeah, unfortunately.
This is a match that feels like filler. Not a match, but this is a pay-per-view that feels like filler.
Yeah.
In the one title that hasn't already got a match set up for it at WrestleMania that doesn't seem to go through the motions, this match still somehow feels like filler.
Yeah.
I don't like it. He's already defeated Tozawa at the Royal Rumble, so why has Tozawa now suddenly got another shot? Shouldn't there be someone else having their shot?
Yeah, maybe they've just not got anybody they're confident enough to put on a pay-per-view. Like I said, it's not the strongest 205 Live, is it? It's kind of the poor relation of the brand. Maybe I don't know. What do you do?
What we've got here is I've got the list of it. There was a fatal four-way elimination match on 205 Live to determine who would challenge Buddy Murphy in this match. So Tozawa, of course, was in it.
Yeah.
Cedric Alexander, the former champion.
Yeah.
So he's someone that maybe could have come up. Maybe they feel it's too soon for him to come up. Leo Rush, who is currently the manager of Bobby Lashley.
Yeah.
And he's the one that made a comment about Emma when Emma was fired. It was something like, "Oh, you couldn't hang with the big boys," or something like that.
Yeah.
Some trash talk, and then he apparently got a lot of heat for it backstage, but also a lot of wrestlers publicly on Twitter had a go at him.
Right.
Probably one of the biggest ones. I know Bray Wyatt had a go at him, saying about, "Oh, you can't hang with the wolves here, kid."
Yeah.
And then Humberto Carrillo.
Don't know him.
I've never heard of him before either. A Mexican luchador signed to WWE where he performs in the NXT brand. Never seen him on NXT. Well, not that I can remember. If I've seen him, then he's been a jobber. And on the Cruiserweight exclusive 205 Live brand. Previously, he worked under the luchador ring name Ultimo Ninja.
Right.
Never heard of Ultimo Ninja either.
No, sounds very
it's not
90s,
particularly
isn't it?
strong. They could have done even with someone like what was his name, the Scottish Noam Dar. Someone like Noam Dar would have been good. You've got the lads from the NXT UK brand. You've got the lads on NXT. This is the issue with the guys that are good enough to not be on 205 Live.
Yeah.
Go to the main roster and stall in the mid card. The guys that aren't good enough go to 205 that are bad enough to go to 205 Live. It sounds harsh, but
yeah, I know what you
guys
mean.
without character for the main roster goes to 205 Live, and the whole thing, no matter how well it's booked, seems a bit lackluster.
Yeah, I agree. I think it's very flat.
Stars.
No, it's very flat, and the only reason it's on here is because obviously they have to put the title fight on. That's why it's not in the main card. It's just going to be on the pre-show. There must be a pre-show. There is now on the WWE Network, isn't there? It's a pre-show, so it must be.
It'll be at least an hour's worth of pre-show, so there'll be maybe one match on it.
It'll be this match, and probably Bobby Roode will get on there with his tag team.
That's what he does.
But no, it's a shame to say it, but I just think it's a nothing. It's just, like I said, it's a nothing match, really, and I can't imagine Buddy Murphy's going to lose his title.
I would very much agree with you. I think if they were going to give it to Cesaro, they would have given it to him at the Rumble because it's a bigger thing.
Yeah.
I think we're sort of stuck with I say stuck with. I like Buddy Murphy a lot, but I think he's going to be a champion for a little while longer.
I agree.
So, moving on, we have the SmackDown Tag Team titles. And your favourite tag team in the modern era, the Miz and Shane McMahon.
Man, you can't say things like that to her. Honestly, it's just a joke. I mean, so when we did the last podcast, I think we'd seen Raw and SmackDown following Royal Rumble, hadn't we? So we spoke about how he got his dad out. Yeah, I had it. I spoke about how he brought the Miz's dad out to celebrate with him, and I don't know, it's been very strange. And then they had a match to decide who was going to fight him, and it's the Usos. And this is what I said before: the fact that they beat the Bar, who have been one of the most decent tag teams for a long time. And then the Usos are probably second in that list of the last 2 years. They are probably going to beat them again now as well, you know?
Would you not argue these are the second and third best tag teams for the last few years? Because surely one name stands above all others.
Go on.
The New Day.
The
longest reigning tag team champs.
Yeah, but that's just because they sell a lot of merchandise. So.
Yeah, but they are. If you're looking at sort of.
No, you're right. You're right. You are. Yeah, you are. You were right. Yeah, of course.
And they've put on some of the best matches and some of the most entertaining segments. Okay, they've had also some of the worst segments. We're looking at you, Time Travel Box, but. They have had some of the best as well.
True, you are. Yes, of course. Yeah, you're right. They're the three tag teams.
But that's who Miz and McMahon are going to be at WrestleMania anyway, isn't it? Let's be honest.
You know what? I'm still clinging to my Royal Rumble prediction of them falling out to fight each other at WrestleMania.
Oh. That's not quite what you've got written down here, and I'm going to have to push you.
No, because I have wrote maybe. I have wrote maybe, and the maybe means...
Maybe doesn't get... This is like when you were supposed to pick the last four, and you picked 5 people for the Men's Royal Rumble. You can't do these little tricks to try and get you more points.
What I'm saying is, I've wrote maybe.
You can't go, well, I did say maybe, so now that the Usos have won, I get half a point. That's not how this works.
No, you're probably right. They're going to go on and fight and come up against the New Day at WrestleMania. But I don't know. I still think there's something, a bigger plan for these two. There must be them just become tag team champions and just keep beating everybody. There's got to be a different plan.
The issue is for how big they made that WrestleMania win, and they're really trying to play it up. They're trying to play it up as bigger than the Miz's WWE title win.
Yeah.
I can't see them then throwing that away at the very next pay-per-view.
Unless you're building it up for WrestleMania.
I think that they're building this up for WrestleMania to have a big moment where Shane McMahon turns heel on The Miz.
No, that's my story, though. That's just you just taking it on a month. That's my whole plot.
Yeah, I'm taking it on 2 months. 2 months I'm adding to it. That's very different to a month. Yeah. And no, that's what I think we're gonna. So you think it's Shane turning on Miz and not the Miz?
No, I think Miz will be heel.
I think it's going to be Shane turning on Miz. I think they want to turn Shane into the
His dad, basically.
Vince.
Peak Vince.
And
I'd
think
like that.
they feel like they can get the Miz across this, even though it's worked before.
Yeah, I mean,
still think they can do it.
I think that would be actually quite a good storyline to have Shane basically become young Vince and just piss people off and do what he wants. That would be quite cool.
I'm looking forward to seeing the Miz's shocked and hurt face. That shocked face is when he is turned on and hit with the title belts before McMahon walks out on him.
Yeah.
Either at WrestleMania or the night after WrestleMania. And does how Dean Ambrose walked out on Seth Rollins. I think it'll be similar.
Yeah. Like I said, it's just I have picked them to win, and they will win, and it's just that thing that's nagging all the time that something's not right there. There must be a bigger plan for them. That's all I'll say.
Yeah, I felt that way a lot with a lot of what WWE tried to do, and there has never been a bigger plan.
No, I know, yeah.
It's just they're messing with us, trolling us.
Unfortunately.
Right. So I'm gonna have to call you out here. Who you pick? What are you predicting? Who's gonna win?
Miz and Shane McMahon.
Miz, are you sure about that?
Yeah.
Cool. I've also gone for Miz and Shane McMahon, as that was probably made clear in that.
Yeah.
So Raw Women's Title. This is Ruby Riott challenging Ronda Rousey. This feels almost exactly how the Sasha Banks match felt. We're just sort of spinning our tires, waiting for.
It's how every Ronda Rousey match has felt for the last 5 pay-per-views, I think, isn't it? It's just the next person who steps up from Raw. We would have Natalya, Sasha. We had Bella. Was it Bella? Was it Nikki?
See, the Bellas felt like a thing because they were the last of the divas.
I don't know. I just think it's
and that felt like was I excited for the match? No, because it's Nikki and Brie Bella, and my partner makes me watch. I say makes me watch. It's the only part of wrestling that she's interested in, so we watch Total Divas.
Right. See, I don't watch any of that.
And honestly, if you watch it, it makes you hate all of them. This is part of my pathological hatred of Brie Bella, is seeing what a false female dog she is.
Right.
I don't want to swear, but I've probably sworn, and I probably will swear it anyway. So I don't know why I'm doing that. But how fake she is in that show. A lot of them come off really badly in that show. It's one of those ones where you're like, are you sure you want to keep doing this? I know you're earning money, but you're earning less and less money each series, and it's making you very unlikable.
Yeah. They just need something to fill the network with, though, don't they?
Oh, it's weird because the Bellas are, they are quite important behind the scenes on that show. Like they have proper jobs on that show. So why they let that video go out when they come across really badly on it, I have no idea. But anyway, we're not here to talk about Bellas. I felt so everything since the Bella match. So before that, it was the Bliss matches which felt important.
Yeah.
And we all knew that Rousey was going to win, but they felt like they were still telling us an important story. Since then, who have we had? We've had on pay-per-view, we've had Jax.
Natalya.
The Flair match.
Was Natalya
wasn't. She wasn't on pay-per-view. She was on Raw.
Yeah, Raw. Flair was Survivor Series.
So okay, Flair. I'll add Flair to one that felt like there was a story behind it. But again, that, as I said on that podcast, it made no sense how he ended that. Although apparently that was the original plan for Becky Lynch. She was meant to go mentor with a kendo stick. So we've had the Jax match, the Sasha Banks match, and now the Riott match, which don't feel like we know who's going to win. There's no real story to be told here because the story is all about Lynch and Rousey.
Yeah, I mean they only decided on this last week on Raw because Rousey fought one of the members of Riott Squad and beat her in 2 minutes. So fought a second member of the Riott Squad and beat her in 30 seconds. And then Ruby Riott went to get in the ring, decided against it, jumped out of the ring, walked off. So they made a match, and that's it. It's no big story. It's literally a tiny little storyline on Raw that's now got a pay-per-view match against Ronda Rousey.
Could you ever imagine? And I'm not going to talk about the old WWE Women's title or the Divas title because they weren't. But this is supposed to be a world title that's up there in recognition with the WWE title.
Yeah.
Could you ever imagine 10 years ago them making a WWE title match just like that with no fanfare to it?
No. It is literally, like I said at the beginning, it's just filler for WrestleMania. And you see the thing with, I presume, I don't know what's going to happen with Lynch on this pay-per-view because they've been peddling that she's injured, badly injured on Raw. So I'm guessing she's not going to be competing in any match. But she'll turn up because it's a pay-per-view. But what she does, I don't know. And where will she turn up? Will she turn up at the end of the match and just stand, face to face with Rousey again? Or we'll have to wait and see.
Did you see her post where she took a video of Rousey arguing with her, took the sound off it, and then subtitled it?
No.
With Rousey, I would go find it. It was up on her Instagram, which is definitely worth a follow. Becky Lynch's Instagram was brilliant when she was a face. It's even better now she's turned into Becky Austin.
Yeah, still a face, isn't she?
She's definitely a face, but she's the fans love her too much for her to be heel, but she's not the baby face that she was before. You know.
Yeah.
I felt at times before she was one step away from a dancing leprechaun at times. So we're going with Rousey to win this. So giving us no great surprise. Is there any point in having this match on this card?
It's literally just to put Rousey. It's just to put Rousey on a pay-per-view, isn't it?
But do they need to? Could they not have done?
Probably in a contract, Well,
this is what I've said on here. The other two options, and you've mentioned one of these further down the card. The first option would have been Lynch versus Flair fighting over the WrestleMania match.
Yeah.
I think you've got a ready-made story there that Flair could have a legitimate gripe that Lynch was added to the pay-per-view, to the Royal Rumble match, by a fellow Irishman, and sort of given that chance to win. Stolen from Flair, because if she wasn't in it, there's no way that what's her name? I've forgotten the name.
Lynch.
No, whose space did she take? CJ Perry, what's her name? Lana,
the Rusev's missus.
There's no way that Lana was getting into that. So once Jax was out, that was Flair's match to win. So I think she could have had a legitimate gripe saying, I should have won that match. Yeah. That's my guy. She wasn't legally in that match. It's not Finley's choice to make. So give me my match. And then Flair comes out and whoever is running SmackDown now comes out to say, okay, that's it. If you guys can't settle this amicably, you can settle Elimination Chamber and that's your match. And that's your women's match there.
Yeah.
And that all leads to them both being added to WrestleMania. The other option I had was Flair versus Asuka for the women's title. Now I would hate this because this has taken the title off of Asuka, who deserves that title. But if Flair then won the women's title, the SmackDown women's title, and then went into Raw and said, right, I want to put this title on the line against you to unify that title and then make it a triple threat for a unified women's championship. That would have made that match spectacular.
Yeah, it would. Definitely. Again, that needs them to think of a proper storyline rather than just putting the biggest two women at the time into the main event, which is what they're going to do.
That's it. It's a storyline I've given them. It's easy. It took me I sat down here. It took me 10 minutes to think of that and to type it out.
Yeah, it's good. Yeah, I mean, I can't see him taking the title off Asuka. They've just gave her it. She defended it. I think she's probably going to be champ up until WrestleMania for SmackDown. I don't know what they're going to do with Flair. Actually, she's not really come out and kicked off about the Royal Rumble at all.
I will say, if you are interested in my theory about unifying the titles, I have a whole video that has been recorded. The audio has been recorded and is waiting to go out. It was meant to go out last Tuesday, but I've been ill and haven't bothered. I've just got to I basically got to edit. So when that is done and up that'll be me talking about my plan for the new WWE titles moving forward. So
Well, there's a lot of rumours that the shows are going to be brought back together, isn't there? So in which case they're going to have to unify them.
I mentioned that in my video.
Oh,
so if
well,
you're interested in
spoiler
that,
alert.
and this is the part where I'm going to cut us off from part 1. But if you're interested in that, I'll leave you with a plug for my video that should be coming out at some point this week, possibly if I get my bum into gear. So with that cheap plug, I will say adieu to part 1, and we'll be back for in a minute for part 2.
Yeah, listening to Life Junkies podcast.
And we are back. So we are left with 2 matches, 2 Elimination Chamber matches. So I've got them down in an order here. Chris, I would like you to pick which one we talk about first. Which would you like to talk about?
Let's do the women tag team titles.
I'm glad you had that at the end there.
Yeah.
So this is, of course, the Elimination Chamber for the women's tag team titles. Now this is, well, it's not a new thing in WWE. They've had women's tag team titles. I believe they had them for a brief period in the 70s.
Right.
But these are basically brand new belts.
Yes.
They will not carry any lineage from anything else, from any of the from WWE or any of the multitude of promotions he picked up, which must have had some version of women's tag team titles in the past. I didn't realise this was going to be an Elimination Chamber match until I pulled this up. I thought, it'd be cool. They've got 6 teams there. It'd be cool if they put them in the chamber. But I didn't think they'd actually go through and do it, especially not with some of the women they've got in there who are less than ideal when it comes to wrestling, should we say?
Yeah. Yeah, there's some not very good, they're not even a team, some of them, you know.
I reckon that me and you are going to very much.
Okay.
I think you really don't like that. But we'll see.
Okay.
So the teams in this, if we're going to actually talk about who they are, we have Nia Jax, Tamina.
Yeah.
Everyone saw that one coming. The Riot Squad. Everyone saw that one coming. Rose and Deville. Everyone saw that one coming. The Iconics.
Yeah.
Everyone saw that one coming. Sasha Banks and Bayley. Now this is obviously the only reason these two are still together, and the reason why they did that weird sort of lesbian storyline a few months back where they suddenly really loved each other for a bit. And finally we have Naomi and Carmella for reasons I'm not sure, maybe because they both can dance.
I think that will be the reason.
Have they explained why these two are together? They're just together.
Just together. That's it. No reason.
Cool.
I presume you never know. They might somehow decide why this week, but no reason at all other than get Carmella in it. I think basically.
Naomi is just tagging with whoever now, isn't she?
Yeah, she's lost completely. You know,
it's a shame.
Spiraling out of control. Really.
Quite good.
She's never shown it on.
She's one of those. She's a solid hand.
Mm-hmm.
She's not. Does she have the personality of Lynch? No, nowhere near. But you know, she's better than a lot of them on this roster.
Yeah.
So where do we go from here? I'm not entirely sure what to say from here. So first, we just talk about what we've got down here for both these elimination matches. The way we've done it, we've got the team we expect to win, and then we've got the order we believe they'll be eliminated. So the team is quite interesting. So my first team.
Yeah.
I've got. This makes a great podcast. It's great. You guys can listen to me point at things where Chris can't even see. So the first team I've got here in my brackets, that is the team that I believe will be eliminated first.
Right.
Just double checking that you've done yours the same way. No, you've done yours opposite.
Yes. So my last team is the first team.
Okay, so we've got ours opposites.
Yeah, so I have picked the first team to get eliminated will be the Riot Squad.
Whereas I have picked Nia Jax, Tamina. Riot Squad, why? Why are you throwing them out first?
I think you'll probably disagree. I think they're dreadful. I really do. I don't even know what they do half the time. I watch the weekly shows and you just think they don't do anything. They don't. You know, they're fighting singles matches and lose. They're fighting tag team matches and generally lose unless they win by DQ. Ruby Bright's probably the only one in there that's decent. She's obviously fighting Rousey. The other two they're not going to win it. They're in there for a short amount of time and they're out. And I just think they've got no real plot story, so they'll probably get rid of them straight away. And I think they'll be the first team out.
I will say right now, I'm a big Ruby Riott fan. I think she can go a long way in this business. I think she was brought up too quickly.
Yeah.
I think she was just about finding her feet in NXT, and then suddenly she was thrown out as part of Riot Squad because they needed people for Royal Rumble, I guess.
Yeah.
So I think she was sort of thrown to the wall somewhat, but protected by the fact they put her out with the Riot Squad to take the losses for her. I've kept them in for a little bit longer, mainly to add some heel menace to the team that I believe will win. I've gone for Jax and Tamina because I can't cope with any more Nia Jax and Tamina on my TV screen. I'm serious, and I know they keep giving Jax
the big
a
push.
sort of semi-push. It's not a proper push, but it's a semi-push. But she's awful, and Tamina was awful before. Jax was awful, and Tamina's still awful, and it's just awful. The tag team is awful.
It doesn't bode well for who I've picked to win this, does it?
It's stuck again. Sentient ghouls. So yeah, so I very much hope they will be eliminated first off. I could have quite easily swapped them with Riot Squad in my list of eliminations, which would probably make more sense. I just hope that we won't see them. By the way, I'm unclear on this, so I'll ask you. I presume, having watched TV, it'll be made abundantly clear because the WWE never do matches that you don't really rules to.
No, of course not.
Guitar and a ladder match.
Yeah.
But how a team's eliminated, does one person need to be pinned and then the whole team's out?
Yeah, basically, cool. Yeah, that's it. Or submit.
So Tamina to be pinned and her and Jax to be eliminated, and then Jax to turn on Tamina and beat her up.
Yeah, it doesn't look well. That's not what I've picked.
No, that's not what you picked. So my second elimination is Rose and Vil because they're very much meh. I don't know. I don't know if they've been given a higher elevation. Probably not from your pick for second to be eliminated. Who's your pick, Chris?
Naomi and Carmella.
Oh yeah, of course. You're going the opposite way to us.
Yeah, I am.
I'm reading yours wrong.
I've just been thinking. Naomi's the one married to one of the Usos, isn't she?
She is.
That is why she's in this, because of the whole Mandy Rose Naomi thing that's going on every week. They've got a big bit of beef. That's what's going to happen. These two are going to be tearing chunks off of each other. Yeah, I forgot all about that. That'll be a large part of this, I reckon, when these two finally get their hands on each other in a ring.
Because there's a big thing about them doing that storyline, and everyone's like, "Oh, it's them going back to the Attitude Era," when they literally did the storyline like 2 years ago with what was his name, Enzo Amore and Lana.
Yeah. Well, this is basically, it showed you actually something from when Mandy Rose was on Tough Enough. Was it Tough Enough she qualified through? And Naomi was like one of the pros on it, and she was like picking on her. So then it skipped forward like 2 or 3 years, whenever that was, and then that's why she's trying to seduce her husband to get back at her for that. So they've kind of run a story for about 4 or 5 weeks. I'm guessing when these two finally get in the ring at the same time, all they're going to be doing is tearing lumps out of each other.
Yeah. Cool. So we've actually got the two rivals for our second pick. So who's your third elimination pick?
I have gone for the Iconics. Even though they are a proper tag team, I just think they're not going to win. I honestly can't see anybody than the last four being Jackson, Tamina, Bailey and Banks. I just don't see any other storyline in me. I know you've got rid of Jackson, Tamina straight away. I just think they're the biggest players in this match, and they'll be the last four wrestlers.
My issue with that is that I think they think too highly of Jax for her to be pinned by Bailey and Banks. There has to be some way that they take out Tamina, and then So what I've got is you got Iconics, then Rose and Deville, then Bailey and Banks and Jackson Tamina, the last four. Whereas I've got Naomi and Camilla going out after Rose and Deville, giving me the final six of the Riot Squad, Iconics, and Bailey and Banks. The reason that the Riot Squad and the Iconics are the heel threat that Bailey and Banks will overcome together to win the tag team titles, and I've got the Iconics, the last team eliminated.
I don't know. I just wonder if this is a good way, because obviously the women's title is going to be Rousey, Lynch, Flair. It's going to be going on for a while. If this is a way of giving Banks and Jax big matches that aren't for the title, as in for pay-per-views to fill them, they can have tag team matches, and if they don't give Bayley and Banks it now, then they've got 4 weeks to have them, basically building a storyline to challenge again and then fight for it, just a proper tag team match at Fastlane.
I feel like this is going to be mainly a vehicle for them to finally get to the Bayley versus Sasha Banks match at WrestleMania or at a pay-per-view. Whether they lose here and then build to it to WrestleMania, or they win here and then there is a turn with Banks turning on Bayley and it'll be sometime after WrestleMania. But I think this is why they're still a tag team, and I think this will be the big turn that hopefully reignites both careers. It seems a weird thing to say reignites Sasha Banks' career after she just had a women's title match, but she was filler in that title match. She wasn't a legitimate challenger.
True.
So this, I believe this is that ignition point. It feels like the Banks and Bayley, the issue of them recently has been that they've been stalling, waiting for this to come up. So to not give them a title run, I think, before the turn would be a detriment to them.
Unless you let them win it at WrestleMania. And you build up now for the next 8 weeks.
Yeah, but do you really want to hot potato it?
Well, you could with Jackson. They could give it them for 8 weeks, whatever it is, to WrestleMania, and then you have Bayley and Banks win it at WrestleMania, which you could see being very, very popular, especially with young kids. Bayley. So, I don't know. I still think they might just keep it off them for a little bit longer and let them win it, as they say, on the grandest stage of them all.
The team that I really like and that I would have liked to see win this match is the Iconics. I am a big Iconics fan. I think they're brilliant.
Yeah,
Not in the ring.
No, on mic.
But on the mic, they are brilliant. And they make my day every time I hear them talking. I follow both on Instagram and not just for that way, because they're both quite interesting as well with Snapchat. So I used to do a lot more. It was when I used Snapchat, I think it was Billie Kay on Snapchat. I followed her, and it was full of her and Peyton Royce just irritating the other superstars. You'd see Hideo Itami asleep in an airport lounge or something, and it's them. Hey, Hideo. Oh no, I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to attempt the accent.
No, I thought you were going to do it then.
I sort of did, and I was like, oh, that's not coming out right. That's awful. Michael, stop doing that. But yeah, it was them just sort of waking people up and annoying them, and you could tell there's sort of a lot of love for people for them as well. Like they weren't that irritating pair. They were, but
No, they're good. They're good. I like them. They are good. I don't think they'll win this match though. Unfortunately,
no, I don't think they'll win this match either. But I think at some point they will definitely have a title run.
Yes. Yeah, you're probably right.
So, we have one more match to talk about, which is the WWE title. AJ Styles, Jeff Hardy, Mustafa Ali, Randy Orton, Samoa Joe, and Daniel Bryan. I'm really looking forward to this one. It could be really good. You have some reservations, though.
I just think everybody knows what's going to happen. They are putting their first steps into Daniel Bryan's title reign. He's had a couple of big defences. He's now got somebody along with him. Rowan's now obviously part of his stable. They're building something. He's designed his own belt. He's got his own belt. There's no way they're taking the title off him at Elimination Chamber. I just can't see it. And probably not Fastlane either. He's going to WrestleMania as a champion for me.
Oh yeah, most definitely. I think he's going to have a long title run as well. We know he's not going to win, but I think it's going to be an enjoyable match to watch anyway.
Yeah. Oh, no, I think it will be. I think they've got some decent, you've got some good wrestlers, you've got some proven good wrestlers in there. I love Samoa Joe, so I'm hoping he gets at least last 3, but it's just because you just know he's not going to lose the belt. I just can't see him losing the belt. I know you're not going to like this, but why is Jeff Hardy in there?
Jeff Hardy, and I'll tell you, this is WWE's thinking. Jeff Hardy is in there because he will jump off part of the cage and do that spot
Yeah,
that they
true.
want
Yeah.
him to do. That's the whole reason he's come back.
Yeah.
I would. Is Randy Orton going to try and rip his ear off again? Are we going to see a spot like that screwdriver spot at Hell in the Cell?
Yeah, possibly. I mean, I don't know. I just think, where does Jeff Hardy go from here? Why is Mustafa Ali in this match? Randy Orton, fair enough. Samoa Joe, fair enough. Daniel Bryan, obviously the champ. AJ Styles, fair enough. Those two, the other two, I don't know. I just don't understand why they're in there. Other than you said, just to jump off a cage and then hurt yourself, get pinned, walk out.
Ali's in there because they seem to have grabbed him as the Great White Hope. I feel it reminds me a little bit of when John Morrison was first moving into the WWE title picture.
Yeah.
And now Ali is nowhere near a story like Morrison had. He'd had his reigns with Eminem and then with The Miz.
Yeah.
And he'd cut his teeth also in the mid card. He had a few mid card title runs. And then they started to move him up, and they moved him into the Jeff Hardy and CM Punk feud.
Okay.
Which was, honestly, for me, some of the best WWE TV I've ever watched. And granted, I wasn't around properly for the Attitude Era.
Yeah.
It passed me by a little bit. But that period of time with CM Punk, John Morrison, and Hardy feuding for the best looking belt in wrestling, the big gold belt. I love that period. That TLC pay-per-view. Jeff Hardy lost the belt to Punk, and then which resulted in a cage match, which cost Jeff Hardy his job. It's some of the best. Some of the best matches I've seen on WWE TV. This has got a feel of the same. Sort of Mustafa Ali is coming up as the sort of a young plucky kid that has pulled off a few good wins against the main guys and is now fighting for his chance for a title.
Yeah, I suppose. I suppose so. And he's been floating around for the last 6-7 weeks, and there's nobody else on SmackDown up at that level at the minute, I suppose. So why not? But he's probably going to be first out. I think I've got him as second out, but I think him and Jeff Hardy are nailed on to be the first two people out.
I think you stick Jeff Hardy right in the middle of those because he will do something stupid and get himself knocked out.
True. Yeah.
After someone else has been knocked out. So again, as we've mentioned, we've got these opposite ways, which now look at your card makes sense on this one. So I've got Mustafa Ali out first. I think he'll be very much a sacrificial lamb to someone.
Yeah.
Samoa Joe, then Jeff Hardy, then AJ Styles, and then I think they'll keep Randy Orton in until last because they love Randy Orton, even though he's been boring for the past 5 years, if not longer. Whereas I
have the Jeff Hardy going out first, with Mustafa Ali. Could be either way, but I do think them to be the first out. I just think Samoa Joe might go deep, as in the last 3, but last 3 losing, he'll probably get rid of Orton and get rid of Ali. Like, he'll take a couple of scalps with him, because I just feel like they're kind of giving him a push, He's having a lot of his own VTs before. He's having a lot of run-ins. He's destroying a lot of people. I just think they're kind of slowly pushing him up there. So it wouldn't surprise me. It wouldn't surprise me at all if WrestleMania is Daniel Bryan, Samoa Joe.
Yeah. That'd be a brilliant match, wouldn't it?
I think it'd be really. And I think Styles is not going to win because Styles needs a break. He needs taken out of that picture, and they're slowly taking him out of it. But I just think Joe Bryan, that could be a really good WrestleMania title match.
Yeah.
Do you know what? The other thing that wouldn't surprise me at all, if in this match, is if Daniel Bryan gets another member to his stable.
Maybe, I don't know. I'm looking at the competitors, seeing if someone could make a turn in the match. But there's no one there that would make sense.
I wondered if somebody might come out as they did, the last pay-per-view. You could see that maybe. I didn't give him somebody else in that stable. That.
Proven.
Oh, God, no. I haven't thought. You can't ask me a question like that. I haven't thought about that.
You gotta think your ideas through. You're not WWE. You gotta have a plan for this.
What about Rowan's tag partner?
Isn't he still injured?
Is it? Oh, I didn't know. I was wondering. Yeah, I don't think it'll be a big person. I could just see, just somebody come out like nobody ever expected Rowan to walk out, did they? It was bizarre. So it was just somebody it might be somebody from the mid card, but just somebody else who comes out and pledges his allegiance to Daniel Bryan.
Maybe Bray Wyatt.
Yeah, it's a bit weird though, isn't it, to do that? I don't know. Plus, I wonder if he'll come back with Hardy.
what if I quite like this? What if they get someone else to come out for Bryan? So someone, let's say generic wrestler number 5, comes out for Bryan and helps him win this match. But the man that he screwed, the man that was seconds away from winning that WWE Championship, just happens to be Jeff Hardy.
Oh, you're not going to say his brother
Jeff Hardy comes out and says, you screwed me, man. I want a rematch. And so they do the rematch, Jeff Hardy versus Daniel Bryan. But Jeff Hardy is screwed again. So the next night on SmackDown, Jeff Hardy comes out and goes, right, I've talked to Vince McMahon, and he said I can get my title rematch at WrestleMania, but I'm not coming alone. And then hear that crack, and out comes House Hardy. I'm not just talking about Matt Hardy. I'm talking about House Hardy. We've got Matt Hardy. We've got Vanguard 1. We've got Senor Benjamin. We've got Ruby Sky. And we've also got Bray Wyatt coming out. And he's like, I know, man, this is my thing. I used to be like this, but the Lake of Reincarnation saved me. And then we have that sort of House Hardy versus Bryan's, I don't know, New Age terrorist cult going on.
I don't know. I don't think Matt Hardy will be ever pushed back into that top bracket again.
He doesn't need to be. That character can quite happily sit there and do that job. So he lets Jeff Hardy go out and do. Yeah. Jeff Hardy is still, I believe, a top level talent. He's still a main event talent. So he comes out and he does the main event wrestling with Matt Hardy backing him up and on the mic, and they let Matt just go with it because Matt's ready. Matt and Bray are both ready on the sidelines waiting to come back.
Members. I don't know. I don't know what they're going to do with Matt Hardy when he comes back and when he comes back.
I feel somewhat like the words of John Lennon are coming about being a dreamer.
Yeah. I know you have a huge love for Matt Hardy, but I just don't see it. I don't see it.
I've got a huge thing for Jeff Hardy. I've always been a Jeff Hardy boy. I've always liked Matt. I've always been Jeff Hardy. But I think Broken Matt, genius. And I think Broken Matt is, he's not the hero we deserve, but he's the hero we need, goddammit. So, anyway, we've both obviously gone for Bryan winning that one. Now we've got this at the end for filler. I don't know, we've rammed. It's hard to tell because it may have been obvious on this podcast. It may not have been obvious on this podcast. We've had a few connection issues.
Depends how good your editing is.
My editing is awful, so it's probably going to be fairly obvious. I reckon I might possibly be able to get away with them. But we've been going for over an hour. So for a little bit of filler, what other matches do we expect? Because granted, there's 5 matches on this card that we've got to talk about. There's bound to be more, isn't there?
Yeah.
Come on. So,
I mean, the people who haven't been mentioned: Seth Rollins, Braun Strowman, McIntyre. There's got to be a match made this week on Raw that involves them 3 somehow. Because I can't imagine that Brock's contract has him turning up this weekend. I just can't see it. So
no. We won't see Brock until WrestleMania now. We might see him on a few Raws, but he's not going to be at a pay-per-view.
No,
there's no point.
No.
Well, there would be a point, but there's no point to him. So, would you put Ziggler in that and maybe call it a tag team?
Maybe, yeah. I think it'll be something like that. There's no way that having a pay-per-view and not putting Seth Rollins on it. He sells too many T-shirts. He's too popular. There's no way that having a pay-per-view and not having him there. So he has to have an opponent. They've kind of face-pushed Braun, so he'll not fight him. McIntyre's obviously the big heel on Raw, so you'd think McIntyre Rollins maybe if they don't think Braun's up to competing yet.
Well, it all hinges on that, doesn't it?
That could be the match. McIntyre Rollins could be the match.
But then what do you get out of it? Because you can't protect Rollins in that match.
It's whatever happens on Raw tonight, and you never know. Something could happen tonight, and McIntyre comes out and attacks him from behind. Just something to give it a tiny bit of a lead in to Sunday.
Okay, so that's that one. I mentioned it before. Maybe a SmackDown Women's title. Yeah. Asuka and Flair are the 2 big names that aren't on the card at the moment.
I mean, I don't know if Flair will want to job out to Asuka and lose another pay-per-view. I don't know if she'll want to do that, but yeah, I mean, she'll have a match.
Does she not? She owes Oscar one, doesn't she, for taking away her winning streak at WrestleMania?
Yeah, but they're not. Then she's not going to. Oscar's not going to drop the title, is she? So it's like, you know.
Yeah, this is what I'm saying. Flair beat Oscar for the title
Yeah.
at WrestleMania to stop her winning streak.
Yeah.
So Flair owes Oscar
Yes.
a win.
Yes. Yeah, and I suppose Oscar beat Lynch at Royal Rumble, so she beats Flair, then she's beating those two, and it's kind of nice.
Well,
Story
yeah, if
for
she
her.
beats those two, she is now 100% legit.
So yeah, they could go down that road and say, right, now she beats Flair, and then she can stand there in the middle of the ring and say, I've beaten them both.
And then Shayna Baszler's music hits. So these are your matches. So who do you think next?
Well, the only I was just thinking, because there's been Bobby Lashley, Finn Balor, Intercontinental title. These two have had run-ins last week before on Raw, quite heated ones, and you think that maybe with it being Intercontinental title, they might put that match up. Obviously, I can't imagine there'll be a pay-per-view without Balor on it because he's massively popular, and having headlined the Rumble, male Rumble, are they then not going to have him on a pay-per-view 3 weeks later?
But then does he beat Lashley? Are we hot shot at the Intercontinental title like that?
No, I think Lashley beats him by Leo Rush interference or something like that, and then they'll probably even have the same match again at Fastlane, you know, where Balor might win him. Then you never know. But yeah,
I feel like that IC title could do so much more for Balor than it for Bobby Lashley.
Yeah, but I just don't think they'll take it off him so quickly. But like I said, they could. There's no reason why they couldn't have it again in 4 weeks' time, and then he could take it off him then.
For argument's sake, we'll know if he wins or not. If who wins or not by who comes out. As in, will it be Finn Balor or the Demon? If Finn Balor comes out, Bobby Lashley's winning. If the Demon comes out, Finn Balor's winning.
Well, that's the thing. They could do Finn Balor Lashley here. Lashley wins by cheating. Next pay-per-view, Lashley faces the Demon. Demon wins.
But if you could do something like that, you're not going to make it last until WrestleMania.
Dunno. Maybe this was... It's not a 3-fight feud, though, is it? Lashley Balor, really.
That's the problem. So do you have him just win here?
No, because I think that'd be really harsh on Lashley. Who just since he's come back, since he's come back, he's just jobbed around. He's just lost to everybody, and you know.
It's not very good.
No, I know, but you can't bring him back and then just never do anything with him. I do feel sorry for him.
He's not.
No.
I know how many times I have to say that, but he's still he looks he's still very stiff in the ring.
Yeah.
And he's still awful on the mic as well. The best part of his act is Leo Rush.
Yeah, I think this will be a match on the card, and I think Lashley will win that.
So, and the last one we've got written down here is a possible US title match.
Yeah, it was only if there was going to be a pre-show, would it be on that? You know, just got R-Truth's holding the title now. Very popular at the minute with the crowd. Nakamura, does he get a shot back to try and get his title back? And then probably the one thing I would say is because they're kind of pushing Nakamura and Rusev together as a tag team, would these two beat the crap out of R-Truth? You know, just to cement their newfound friendship even more. So get DQ'd, Truth keeps the title. These two will move on into SmackDown next week as possibly a new tag team.
Or maybe you have Truth come out, you don't do a match, but you have Truth come out and do a skit with the title.
Yeah.
Which then leads to Nakamura and Rusev just coming out and beating him up and then just leaving. Yeah,
exactly. So, yeah, that could easily happen. I was just thinking about who's been on the last few pay-per-views, who's popular on TV. I think you are going to see R-Truth either pre-show or somewhere along the night. So, yeah, that's not a bad idea. Actually, not even have a match, just come out and do a bit of dancing, but then get attacked and beaten up.
R-Truth has had some of the worst booking.
Yeah.
Any wrestler. Like we moan about how they book Finn Balor, but R-Truth is a guy that he's pretty good in the ring.
He was in the
mic.
2015 Elimination Chamber. I saw it earlier on. I thought, I was like, what year is that? And it was 2015, and R-Truth was in there.
There was a while when he was doing the little Jimmy stuff when he was really popular. Yeah. He had that feud with John Cena, which was really good. Like you look back, and you go, "Damn man, like that version of R-Truth, he'd have won the world title now."
Yeah, probably. Yeah.
He'd be one of the most over guys in the roster.
Yeah, especially on SmackDown.
I'm just checking it out. It's 2015 Chamber.
Yeah, it was on the poster for it. I'm sure it was on the poster. It was on the poster. It was him.
Oh no, hang on. I'm looking at it, and this was not the R-Truth one, unless I'm missing him in the tag team, because that was the year that they had the Elimination Chamber for the Intercontinental Championship, which is the infamous one with Ryback, Dolph Ziggler,
Right, that's the one.
Barrett,
Ryback,
Mark Henry,
Ryback's
R-Truth,
front and central of it.
and Sheamus.
Yeah, that's the poster.
Which is referred to as the worst Elimination Chamber match of all time.
Yeah, no, when I saw it earlier, I was like, what?
Yeah, because that was because they did a tag team Elimination Chamber match there as well, with the New Day, the Ascension, the Lucha Dragons, Los Matadors. God, Los Matadors. That's not. Yeah, Los Matadors, who were Primo and Epico.
Yeah.
Also known as Carlitos. I don't know if they're his brothers, or I think at least one of them's his brothers. The other one might be a cousin, I'm not too sure. Primetime Players and Tyson Kidd and Cesaro.
Tyson Kidd, wow.
Oh, that is such an awful
Terrible,
card.
isn't it?
Or, but as well as that, they've got Neville versus Bo Dallas.
Wow.
Kevin Owens beating John Cena, though. A big fan of that.
There's a person who's disappeared, Kevin Owens.
I don't know. I don't know. They had that thing with him quitting and then coming back the very next week because he'd been offered a major role in the show, and then he disappeared again.
Yeah.
Nikki Bella defeating Naomi and Paige. On the subject of Paige, has she returned with her new role?
No, she's been on the last two shows touting a new film though.
Yeah, I've seen. Yeah, with The Rock.
Yeah. Well, it's her life story.
Zero desire to go and see.
Yeah, it's literally all about her life story in Norwich or somewhere. But yeah, I'll just to go back to Daniel Bryan a minute. What if somebody like Kevin Owens or a Sami Zayn came out as part of his thing?
I get where you're going, but would it not be a waste of a Kevin Owens or Sami Zayn?
There's not much room on the card around now. When you look round everywhere, you think.
If they do go through with this revitalization of the tag team division, would it not be fitting for those two to come back as a tag team? Maybe even bring back El Generico.
Even though they had a big fallout.
Oh, when has the past ever affected?
True, very true, very true.
God, I'm looking at old Elimination Chamber. So I'm down to 2013 now. We've got Jack Swagger, Chris Jericho, Daniel Bryan, Kane, Mark Henry, and Randy Orton. We've had a lot of bad Elimination Chamber matches.
Wow, some bad matches there.
I've just seen one with Sheamus on the 2002's got Sheamus on the post.
The fact that I always think that if they ever do a pointless WWE question, which is a British game show, anybody's not listening, that if it was WWE title holders, that Sheamus would be my answer. WWE heavyweight title holders, you'd go Sheamus. Nobody would say Sheamus. The
only one I've ever got in the final round where I've got a pointless answer when they asked about I think it was 2016 Belgian World Cup qualifying players.
Wow.
Anyone that played for them in the qualification campaign. And I got about 5 because that's when Chelsea had all of the Belgians, and I was really into Belgium as a team.
Yeah.
I was like, there's this man. I think like Toby Alderweireld was a pointless answer.
Yeah, actually wouldn't have been known as much then.
Yeah,
Lukaku probably was.
Yeah.
Back then.
Oh God, I like a bit of point.
Yeah, cool.
It's been a while since I watched it. Anyway, we are now rambling.
Yeah.
Which is what I do very well, but probably not making for great podcasting.
No.
So I'm going to sign off. If we continue rambling after we've signed off, then it won't make the podcast, and that's fine. I'm not forcing people to listen to it. So I've already got enough editing to do on this podcast.
Yes.
I'm not editing the end as well because we rambled on about Pointless and Toby Alderweireld, which I'm quite impressed. I appear to have pronounced that correctly twice now.
Yeah. All good. Sounded good to me.
My pronunciation is normally terrible, so I can say Toby Alderweireld about as well as Dan Gear can. So yeah. Doesn't matter. They won't be listening to this. None of them will.
No, probably don't even know it's a podcast.
I'm pretty sure they've all got the Life Junkies blocked on Twitter anyway.
Yeah.
Or at least all my retweets are blocked on Twitter, so they don't have to see me tweeting stuff about wrestling. It's cool. Cool. So it's been great having you on, Chris.
Yeah, thank you very much, mate. Enjoyed it again.
and maybe I'll manage to bully you on next week
Maybe.
to talk about the pay-per-view. Knowing you, though, we will have to do it on Saturday night because you've got work on
busy
the following week. So
Tuesdays and Wednesdays when there's football on, mate, it's just like a no-go for me, unfortunately.
well, we'll sort something out. I'm very lucky to be off next week, so could possibly even do it Monday, depending on what your schedule is. But that is again another conversation that isn't for the pod. So I'm gonna go. And thank you for listening. If you like what you've heard, you can find the Life Junkies on Twitter at @the_Life Junkies, and you can find me on Twitter, Brazier25, and on Instagram under the same handle. So I don't know if Chris wants to plug anything that he does online.
No, not really. Nobody cares what I do
don't
online.
Think you would. I have just randomly decided to do that now because I can. Because I used to do it with my podcast, so I thought, why not? And anyway, thanks for listening to this very rambling ending. And goodbye from me and goodbye from Chris.
Thank you.
Hi guys, if you've enjoyed this, then please like, share and subscribe. If you're new to the podcast, you can check out the podcast playlist, which will be up on the screen. And there will be a little something else on the other side. I haven't decided yet, but please go check those out and enjoy.